Does it have to be 21?
Yeah, that's the game. 21 questions.
Okay.
You need to look a little bit more excited. Hi everyone. It's Monday. And Monday means another video. There's a lot of pressure, when you're now filming a series every Monday. We got to do something. And we're feeling a lack of inspiration due to being in our house for like 3 weeks, only going to the grocery store. But we've been getting a lot of good quality family time. Oh, see? Family time. Yeah, it's been good. But anyway, Joya's got a series of questions that she's going to ask me.
What is something I say a lot?
No. Like literally, she says no a lot. There's a bunch of phrases. Let me think for a second here. There are some phrases that she says quite often. The problem is. That is her main phrase. The problem is. I don't operate that way. In my world, there are no problems.
Because it's not that I'm being negative. It's just that you come up with some wild ideas and I'm the realist.
She thought that I was going to order like $1,000 of cat caves. Those round woolly things and your cat can go inside. I can get them imported from another country and we could sell these things online. So I was going to order like $1,000 worth of these things and start a little business.
In the house.
And yeah, we would ship them out and stuff. And she thought that was a big problem. So there were a lot of the problem is.
We don't have a big house. There's nowhere to store them. We would be spending all of our time at the post office.
Yeah, shipping,
No.
Packing boxes.
No. Okay. What should they teach in school but don't?
Common sense. That's hard to teach. How to live, like daily life. That fancy math stuff that I took in elementary school, high school, that has been in no way useful. So kids, I don't want to give bad advice to children here, but there's some really useless stuff that gets taught in school and stuff that you really need to know does not get taught. How to go to the bank, how to talk to adults. Yeah, I do think everybody should take, believe it or not, in high school, I took auto shop. I needed a tech credit and I took auto shop. I don't touch my car. I don't even put gas in my car. Literally, I do. I go to a full service station. But I do know if the car is making some noises and doing different things. I know all the parts underneath the car and inside the hood. I'm just not going to touch them. But that stuff is useful to know. Same thing with sewing on a button on pants. I've had my fair share of buttons pop off due to pants that clearly shrunk in the wash. And so you got to know how to sew a button on. It's just, you got to know how to cook. Domestic skills. Anyway, rant over.
How much do you know about the world outside your country?
I would like to say quite a bit. I read a lot. Not like books, novels. I read a lot of news, a lot of information about culture, heritage, history, economics. So I know quite a bit. I know people in other countries. I have a person that works for me in another country, and so we have good discussions about the country that he lives in.
And we like to travel.
Yeah. One thing I will say, in business class in high school, Mr. Brooksbank, he told us, if you hear nothing that I teach, except for this one thing, this is what I want you to hear. Read a newspaper every day. And that is, nobody gets a newspaper anymore unless you're over 60. But read periodicals. Know what's going on around you. It'll come in handy in conversations. And you just don't look like you've been living under a rock.
What do most people think about you that is absolutely not true?
People that don't know me see me and they see my disability first, and so they think all kinds of things. They think that I need their help, or that I have some challenges. That's what they see. That's just untrue.
What is one thing that when you look back over the last number of years, what makes you say, what was I thinking?
Oh man, this could be 3 hours. Buying a grocery store at 21. That's sort of a what was I thinking moment. I actually, you know how sometimes in life you're so naive that you literally don't know what you don't know. I don't regret it in any way. Like, I don't live in regret. That's a whole other discussion. I do not like regret. Regret is very unhelpful. But I do think sometimes, wow, what was I thinking? Or in a sense, what was I not thinking? Yeah, I think that's the better question here is, what was I not thinking?
What personality trait do you value most and which do you dislike the most?
Optimism. I like optimism. What do I not like the least? Pessimism.
So me.
I would call Joy a cross between a pessimist and a realist. Like she's kind of skirting both pretty well. And then the odd time she kind of flips over to optimism just for a time. And then she goes back to sort of that realism, pessimism business. I kind of stay in optimism a little bit more.
If a script of your life was written and you're asked to choose an actor to play your part, who would you pick and why?
Dwayne Johnson. I think him and I saw a picture just recently. Actually, Joy commented and said, wow, look at his arms. And I said, mine look similar. I'm missing the tats, but anyway, Dwayne Johnson. No. If we're going to go strictly by like height or something, Danny DeVito.
If you had to choose, would you live in your hometown forever and could never leave? Or would you live somewhere else and never be able to go back to your hometown?
That's a really hard question. I don't really have a hometown because I grew up out in the country, and the closest hometown,
Oil Springs.
I would not want to live there.
There's nothing there.
Like, sorry, Oil Springs folks, but literally there is nothing.
There's the convenience store.
There. Gas station. That's you can buy insurance. And
Randy's TV.
Really, there's nothing else, and so couldn't stay there.
Live somewhere else and never go back.
Yeah, I guess we can have video calls with the family.
If you had to choose between good looks or intelligence, which one would you go for?
Intelligence all the way.
Well, I figured you'd have something pithy to say about that, but I guess not.
The pithy thing is that there's a lot of good-looking people walking around that are as dumb as a brick. And so...
But in terms of yourself, I figured you'd say something about, like, who has to choose? I've got both. Well, because that's something you would typically say.
Well, I do feel that I possess both of those to a certain degree. It's way better to be smart because nobody likes having a conversation with a dumb person.
If you were to be born again in a different location, where would you choose and why?
Somewhere closer to water, but within Canada. I love Canada. Canada's a great country. If you are not a Canadian...
Sorry.
Sorry. Like, that's what we say. We say sorry. But really, this is a great country. And so...
Well, I think looking at it from your perspective, if you'd been born in a different time, you probably would be dead. Yeah. You would have been dead shortly after you were born. And
life would look a lot different.
Depending on the healthcare system.
Sure.
40 years ago. Yeah. Anywhere else in the world, who knows, right? There's other places that have better healthcare than we do, but your life could look very different. Yeah. Even in terms of opportunity for people with disabilities.
Sure, it could. Canada's a great spot, and I would just live somewhere on a coast. So it would be, the East Coast or somewhere along the St. Lawrence. If I could speak French, I would live in Quebec. It is lovely. Like, Quebec City is beautiful. I also really loved Victoria, BC, and I could totally live in Victoria if we had like $1 million to buy a house.
Yeah, I like Victoria. But then the East Coast, the people that live on the East Coast are so friendly.
Yeah, like Prince Edward Island was really great. Like, the people there are so friendly. I just can't imagine spending the winter there.
No. They have really good seafood.
Good seafood, good French fries.
It's almost lunch. I'm hungry.
I'm starving. Joy's getting tired. I don't even think we're on question 10. Do we know how many questions you've asked?
No, so many. If after a particular task you find yourself dirty, tired, and hungry, would you eat, take a nap, or take a shower first?
Eat.
It's all about the food. You never do a task where you would get dirty enough to having to take a shower.
I take quite a bit of pride in these here hands. These are hands that haven't seen dirt in a really long time. Again, because I don't pump my own gas, and I don't do all that stuff, and I don't really do yard work, and there are some benefits to being disabled.
What is the most unexpected thing that ever happened to you?
Getting married.
I knew you were going to say that. Finding a wife.
It is true. I for a lot of years never, like as a young child and processing my life, I never thought that I would get married or that I could convince somebody to marry me. But she took the bait, and I just reeled her in with this charm and smile, and here we are.
Maybe we'll tell that story next week.
Surprising, isn't it?
Would you rather every shirt you ever wear be kind of itchy, or only be able to ever use one-ply toilet paper?
I'd take the one-ply toilet paper, because you just use a lot of it, which has been a discussion in our house lately with the toilet paper shortage situation. I have been accused here at home of being massive...
An excessive toilet paper user.
Yeah.
And you are.
Well, whatever. I go through like a roll a day.
Would you rather be balding but fit, or overweight with a full head of hair?
I am currently happy with my situation. I have hair, a little bit plump.
Would you rather be lost in a bad part of town or lost in the forest?
Joy and I have been lost in the bad parts of a few towns. Chicago. We got lost in a really bad part of Chicago.
It was scary. There was broken down cars on the sides of the road.
Yeah.
And guys out
with like the do-rag thing on their head, and they got baseball bats. Like it looked like a movie set.
Yeah.
It was scary.
We didn't actually stop at the stop signs as we were trying to find our way out. We missed the cutoff to get back onto the freeway. Yeah,
it was pretty bad. But being lost in a forest, I think, would be pretty frightening. It depends on the animal situation. Here in southwestern Ontario, we're pretty good. Go a little bit further north, there's bears and other things.
Would you rather have unlimited sushi for life or unlimited tacos for life?
Probably sushi. I can eat sushi all the time.
Yeah, but if they were like real tacos, like
the tacos that we had in
Mexico.
Mexico or that other place, where were we? Charleston. We had good tacos in Charleston. We were in that outdoor seating area.
That was cool.
It was really cool.
But it was part of the atmosphere too.
They had good tacos.
Right? Real tacos, not Taco Bell tacos.
Yeah, not Taco Bell. That's not even a taco.
Would you rather get one free round-trip international plane ticket every year or be able to fly domestic anytime for free?
Oh, domestic, anytime for free. Going back to that whole Canada thing. Love Canada. This is a great country. I'd like to go to some of those middle provinces. Never really been to Saskatchewan or Manitoba. Not that I have anything against them. I'm just, they're just not big destinations for us. But I'd like to go meet some other friendly Canadians.
Would you rather give up bathing for a month or give up the internet for a month?
Would you rather I give up bathing for a month? That is a tough question. This is the hardest question you've asked me. I appreciate the internet. I need the internet to work for me to work.
But you'd be super stinky.
I'd have to quarantine without her, without Joy.
Would you rather take amazing selfies, but all of your other pictures are horrible, or take breathtaking photographs of anything but yourself?
Oh, breathtaking photos of anybody but myself.
I know, this is a dumb question.
Listen, people, you don't need to take a selfie every day. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to offend some people. When I'm scrolling through my Instagram, my Facebook, I don't need to see a picture of you every day. So just cool it.
Would you rather be the absolute best at something that no one takes seriously, or be well above average but not anywhere near the best at something well respected?
I'd like to be really good at something nobody cares about. I don't like being the same as everybody else, if you haven't noticed.
Oh, these are too deep. They're getting deeper and deeper.
Well, let's stop, and we'll see how many questions we have.
Okay.
And then... This is a real question.
So, real question. Would you rather soup that we've had 3 days in a row, but will be ready to eat sooner, or spaghetti that we just had yesterday, but he'll have to wait for the spaghetti?
So you still have sauce and ground meat?
I still have sauce, but no noodles. So either...
Man, big question.
Would you rather?
I'm going to go with the soup.
Because it's ready sooner.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll have the spaghetti tomorrow.